Major General Arthur Fitzroy Hart left camp at about 4:30 a.m. with the good old Irish Brigade. They were on the way to the Bridle Drift on the left flank, and they planned to cross the river here. At the front of his brigade, the local guide indicated that the route was to the right, which took them into one of the large loops of the river. Hart's staff argued that Bridle Drift lay further west and that the loop was a death trap, but the guide insisted, and so Hart chose to follow the guide's directions. The guide was confused and indicated Punt Drift at the head of the loop, not Bridle Drift. The guide was an African local with an interpreter, and there's been debate over whether he just misunderstood or if he intentionally misled the British. I mean, it's entirely possible because at the time the locals were quite sympathetic to the Boers. Hart was obsessed with delivering a close order attack, and this is when soldiers march at arm's length from each other, making a solid defensive formation. This kind of tactic was used against enemies like the Zulu, who struggled to break a tight formation. But it wasn't effective against an enemy with similar technology. The British infantry were armed with the Lee Metford magazine rifle, but they hadn't been trained to take advantage of the range, accuracy, and the speed of the weapon. The weapon has a high rate of fire and can hold twice the number of cartridges than the other rifles at the time.
Hart didn't know exactly where the Boer trenches were, and he had no concept of the effect of mass magazine-fed rifle fire, which the Boers were on the point of unleashing on his troops.
The German Mauser Model 1895 rifle used a fixed front sight and was accurate to nearly 400 meters. It weighed nearly 4 kilograms and would show the enemy the true potential of a small, smokeless powder rifle. As Hart's 4,000 men advanced into the loop, the Boer riflemen, the guns on the far side of the Tugela River, opened fire. The result, carnage and panic amongst the men. A 14-year-old army bugler, John Francis Dunn, acting without orders, sounds the advance, and the confused men charge. They become easy picking for the Boers. Eventually, Bullock orders Hart to withdraw, and the most advanced troops retreat. But some men didn't receive the order and didn't withdraw, so they were captured later in the day. Hart's brigade suffered 500 casualties in little more than an hour.
What an absolute shambles.
Absolute.
I heard that some of them actually crossed the river and then turned around because they didn't know what to do after that.
It was an incredible and foolhardy miscalculation, but just a taste of what's to come.